Hey there, Sagittarius, welcome to your reading for, this week. We are just going to jump right in here. Sorry, I have a new setup and I have no clue what I'm doing, but your first row for your current general energies, you have this mice card and you also have the cross as well. These two cards together can represent kind of like paying too much attention to the small details or caring too much about the small details. The cross, this is a Lenormand deck. I can't find most of my decks I just moved, and so I'm still looking for everything, but in the Lenormand, the cross can represent like having a cross to bear, or, carrying a heavy burden of some sort. And the mice can say that this heavy burden is kind of like a small detail or something that is narrowing your focus in life. And so I feel that for some of you, this reading, already just this first row is kind of like encouraging you to expand your focus or to kind of get a big picture view of what's really going on in your life. And, that could be a good thing. It can also represent, basically it's kind of giving me the vibes that say, put things in life in perspective. You could be, again, kind of, thinking that things are worse than they actually are, or, you could be just focusing too much on the little things. And I kind of feel this is saying that you need to, open up with this energy. You have the Two of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Wands in your first row. Two nines to me is a definite new beginning. So if you're thinking about starting something new, which the Two of Pentacles can kind of represent, kind of having a choice to make or needing to make a choice. And so I feel for a lot of you that this is saying that there's a choice or decision that you need to make. And, I feel it's pretty simple. I think that, the new path is going to be the correct path for you. I also think that simplifying things would be a good idea. It's kind of funny because I was obsessed with money when I was younger, and it's like the harder I tried to make money, the less money that I made, right? And nowadays, I don't even focus on making money, I just focus on other things that are more important to me and I make money, right? Isn't it interesting how that works, right? And I think the same is true for everything else in life. Love, money, business, spirituality, everything. I always tell stories about so many times. I can't tell you how many times I've done a reading for a person that has said to me oh, I went through this horrible breakup, and my money improved. I'm like, yeah, because you're not focusing on it, right? So sometimes I think that when we have an issue again, you have the cross and the mice as your first two cards there. It's like saying you're almost might get this energy of maybe being too focused on something and just needing to focus on something else, or needing to not overcomplicate something that you're working on. So, especially for those of you that are working on a business or a career or something like that, the Two of Pentacles could say that it might be better for you to kind of, almost not focus too much on the small details and just look more at the bigger picture. You have the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is a choice. With the Nine of Cups, I believe that it's a card of bathing in the energy of what you want. So basically, just being the thing that you want to be. It's not even about fake it till you make it, right? Which I don't really like fake it till you make it. I think we should just be what we want to be. Just that simple. And, even if you aren't, so if you want to be successful, you can adopt the habits of successful people, and by doing that, you are being successful. If you want love, you can love yourself. You can take yourself on dates. You can do the things that you would do if you were in a relationship, and then you're giving off that energy. And the Nine of Cups in particular really says that we have to be in the energy of what we want before we can have it. So that's how you do it right there. You adopt the habits. I think the easiest one is to just adopt the habits of, a person who is in a relationship or a person who's got a successful business or whatever it is, even if you don't. And that's what I would do there. You have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. I do feel like you're tired here, Sagittarius. I think you're in this energy of just trying to get to the finish line here. It's really like looking at all these cards, it's not a bad reading at all. I mean, you have the Chariot, the Star, the Ace of Pentacles, the Fool, really good cards showing up here. But I kind of feel that finish line energy, and I would just keep pushing. Again, I do feel there is just this kind of cloud of energy over your reading, not like a bad cloud, but I think it's a cloud that is saying, how can you keep things simple? How can you, just keep it simple, plain and simple, and, how can you make things less complicated? So instead of thinking oh, I have to work hard on this project, say, you know what? What is the simple, straightforward, easy, not necessarily easy answer? But, sometimes I think the obvious answer is the answer, and that's kind of the vibe that I get off of that Nine of Wands. With you have the Two of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Pentacles, amazing. Again, it's funny that I said money because I was kind of getting this feeling that some of you are clearly focusing on your finances or trying to make more money in what you do. And again, I'm not, I don't necessarily think that money is easy to make, but at the same time, I do think that the answers for you are pretty simple. I think the answers are going to be the straightforward, obvious advice type of answers going on here, so I would just keep it simple in whatever you're working on. With the 9 of Cups, you have the 10 of Cups. I love getting the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups together, because the two cards together kind of represent like a blessing or a blessing in disguise coming in for you. The 10 of Cups is my card of fortune after difficulty, and there's clearly a lot of abundance, or, there are like a lot of good things coming in off of that card. With the 9 of Wands, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about needing to go on an adventure. We go up to the Chariot, to the Hangman. So I think that for a lot of you, this comes up for basically every fire sign that it's time. I do believe it's time for fire signs in particular, to go on those adventures. And we're talking about adventures of like learning, or adventures of the mind, or adventures of doing new things that you've never done before. You have this here and now card and this chaos and conflict card. I think you are staying present. I don't really feel like there is chaos or conflict. I definitely feel like you've dealt with some conflicts in your life, mostly having to do with other people, just based off your astrology as well. I think that, sorry, I'm going to keep doing that. I have my new setup if you can't tell, so I have to learn everything over again. But again, I think that some of you have gone through some conflicts and it's like now you're trying to get to the other side. I'm also hearing like, what's the point? I think some of you have been trying to figure out like what was the point of going through some of the conflicts that you've been through, or any situations that brought chaos into your life. It's almost like you're looking for answers, but again, not in a bad way either. I think this is a good thing. We're actually going to skip forward. You have the Moon, the Chariot, and the Queen of Swords. I think the Queen of Swords is saying you're looking for clarity, Sagittarius, on the reasons like why you had to go through something. But this is more from a lesson perspective. Like, I think you're looking at the challenges, difficulties, damn it, all those things in your life, and you're like saying, what did I learn? Or, what was the lesson that I was supposed to get out of this? Just so you don't repeat it again. So, again, I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I think you're getting clarity, or trying to gain clarity, on why you had to go through certain things. Now, the Queen of Swords has her back to the past, so on the table she has her back to all this, and it basically says that you are more focused on the future, or you are thinking more about the future. And again, this is probably a good thing. Again, the Moon here is, again, I think you've been looking for clarity. I do feel like you've been working, like, for those of you in work or business, I think you've been working towards something, and you've been trying to ask yourself, or maybe you've been trying to figure out if you are going in the right direction. There's this path straight down the middle of the Moon, but the whole point of the Moon is that, the Moon is part of the Fool's journey, and he doesn't know if he's going in the right direction or not. He's got these, I'm going to keep doing it, but he's got this path. But if you've ever been outside on a full moon, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of clarity, and yeah, you can kind of see things. You can see in the dark kind of on a full moon, but there are shadows. The full moon casts shadows, and so there are illusions. There are things that you're not sure if they actually exist or if they're real or not. The Moon, those two pillars on the Moon are kind of like a warning to the Fool, and those two pillars tell the Fool to continue on his journey, that he should not get off his path. So, the Moon sometimes I feel is like a shiny object where you're going on this path, you're trying to accomplish something, and you're thinking about making a change. And I feel like the Moon in your reading is saying that you need to continue on the path that you're on because you are setting yourself apart with the Chariot. And I feel like you are heading towards a victory. The Chariot is a very unique path. It's doing something that maybe most people don't do, or doing something in your life that other people do not expect you to do. He is setting himself apart. He is leaving this city behind, and so he's doing something that most people don't do. He's like leaving the city, and he's setting himself apart. So I think that you are at this point in your journey where you're on this very unique path, and you need to keep pushing forward is what this is saying. This kind of gives me the vibes of almost like a finish line reading. I would like to have a finish line reading. I'd need to see like the Four of Wands at least, and maybe a couple others, right? But it seems to me like you're getting very close to a finish line. With the Moon, you have the Emperor. The Emperor is about action and taking action on your journey and taking control. There's been a lot of this like kind of control energy, which is interesting in the readings. I've just noticed it even this week that it seems to me like people are wanting to take control of their lives more. Or are just doing the things necessary to take control, that's it. With the Chariot here you have the Emperor, Empress. Sorry. You could be attracting an Empress-type person or, an Emperor and Empress if you are looking for love. You have the Ten of Pentacles, which to me is the best love card in the tarot. You have the Ten of Cups as well, which is also obviously a very good love card. And then you have the Emperor and the Empress. So again, if you're looking for love, this looks very good. Even if you're not looking for love, I love readings with the Emperor and the Empress because it kind of just says that your energies are in perfect balance. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Five of Swords. Yeah, cutting things out. I think you're walking away from things that no longer serve you. Again, I'm cheating a little bit because I would say that your last couple years have really been about learning your value, which Empress, same thing, even those tens right there. Tens are cards of value. So I think that, even if you don't want love, but also for all of you just in your life in general, you've really been taking a look at your value, and I think you're just cutting things out that are below your value. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you actually have 3 cards. You have this relaxation card, this potential card, and this taking risks card. Some sort of risk has a lot of potential. I think the type of risks that Sagittarius will be taking are risks on something that you're already working on, is what I would say here. So, again, especially with that Moon card, the Moon is like saying, don't give up, to me, to you, if that makes sense. In this reading, you end with the Seven of Wands as well, and the Seven of Wands is a card of persistence. And it's kind of like another card of perseverance, and you also have the Nine of Wands, which is the card of perseverance. So, I really feel this reading is saying, don't give up on something that you're working on or working towards because it's going to be very successful, especially if it's like a goal, wish, dream, something like that. I would keep pushing forward. The potential card is really telling me that something has like great potential in your life, and you have the Hangman, the Star, and the Fool. The Hangman is about being in hangman mode. His head is glowing and he has gained enlightenment. And you have the Star right after it, which tells us that you have maybe gained some answers, or you've gained some inner answers on what you're creating, or whatever it is that you do in your life, and now it's time to move forward again. The Hangman, he has sacrificed movement. He sacrificed the use of his arms and his legs so that he can move forward in life or so that he can accomplish something, but he has to learn something first. That's why he sacrificed movement. But now, showing up in your reading, it's like saying you have gone down this path of the Moon, where maybe you weren't sure about things and now you've learned things and now it's time for you to start moving forward again. So, maybe you have felt that you've been on pause, and you probably have, and now it's time to, again, continue working towards, goals, wishes, dreams, whatever. You have the Star, a lot of hope in your reading. I think you should be very hopeful. If you're not, and even if you are, I would continue to be very hopeful. I think there's a lot of reasons, like I said, for you to be hopeful, to be excited about the future, to think of really, be excited about what's coming in for you, because I feel like there's a lot of really positive energy coming in for you here. This is definitely the card of getting the big picture as well. And sorry, Sag, there's this bird right here. The bird is the ibis on the Star card, and the ibis is a bird of knowledge and wisdom, and on the Star card it just kind of represents getting a bird's eye view or seeing something from a higher view. And so, I think that you getting a bird's eye view or seeing things from a higher perspective would be really good for you. With this Star card you have the Fool, and, again, I kind of feel this is one of those readings that's really talking about the Fool's journey and talking about your journey through life. So, I think it would be great for you to take any leap of faith that you're thinking about taking. I also am hearing you just haven't figured it out yet. So, if you've been working on a business or a project for a long time and it hasn't been working, I really feel that there's going to be a breakthrough moment for you if you don't give up, right? So, that's 90% of the battle, just not giving up. It's like I come from the marketing world. I had a marketing agency when I was very young, and I've been working in marketing ever since. And it's time and time again just running client campaigns and, all that other stuff. I've seen how just tiny little changes where we really don't change much will completely change the results that we get on a campaign, right? So, and it's one of those things that has taught me about life, that having that business and doing that and continuing to work in marketing has taught me just you never know how just changing one little thing can completely change the direction of a project. But I think, again, this is true for life in general, you never know how one little change, one little thing can make all the difference. And I feel like the Fool is encouraging you to not give up. Again, the Nine of Wands, Seven of Wands in your reading are also encouraging you to not give up on what you're working on. With the Hangman, you have the Hierophant, so a lot of learning. The Hierophant is the teacher. He is the educator. And sorry again, I'll figure it out one of these days, Sagittarius, but the Hierophant is the educator, the teacher. He is meant to teach us something. And I feel like you are doing a lot of learning, or you have done a lot of learning in your life. And it's time for you to kind of look at what you've learned. He's making the symbol right here with his hand, and that symbol represents a blessing. So he's giving a blessing to these two initiates in front of him, and I really feel 2 to 10 star Empress, there are clearly blessings coming in for you here. With the star card, you have the world, and sorry, I can't show you this on YouTube because YouTube is run by 3-year-olds, but what I would say here is that I feel that there is some sort of accomplishment coming in for you with the star in the world. But this is based on something that you've been working on for a long time. With the Fool, you have the Two of Swords, definitely an important decision that you have to make this week. 2 of Pentacles to the 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords also says that there are other ways of doing things. I always look at her as my card of third place solutions. She is thinking like this or that, but there's a new island behind her. There might be a better way of doing things behind you here. And I feel like you need to look for the simple solution, kind of like we said at the beginning of the reading. I think that's going to lead to the best results. In your outcome row for the good stuff, you have this card that says, the energy is gaining momentum, so surf that wave, take advantage of it. And you have this card that says, step out of your comfort zone. So I do feel, we're in a time where everybody has to step outside their comfort zones. So I think that, in a lot of ways that will lead to a lot of success. You have the 7 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. 7 of Wands, a card of conviction. It says the deeper you believe something, the more that you know that you're going to be successful, the more likely it is that you are going to be successful. So this is a card of having deep beliefs or, believing something so deeply that you make it happen. And I think that your beliefs are kind of like part of your secret to success here in this reading. So I would make sure that you are kind of developing the beliefs, a success belief system. You have the 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles is a card of holding on too tightly to something, but it's coming up in the area of the good stuff. So, in the good stuff, I think that the 4 of Pentacles represents financial security. I don't think I think you're getting closer and closer to amazing finances, but, this is just like stable finances. So, you've been working to stabilize your finances. You have the Ace of Pentacles, which is like something that has a lot of potential. You have this card of potential with this mountain that's on it right here. So, I think that whatever you are working on has a lot of potential, but potential means nothing. Potential basically means what you put into something is what you're going to get out of it. So, I would really nurture anything that you're creating or working on, and I would not give up. Again, I think for most of you, what this reading is talking about is, kind of goals, wishes, dreams, or something you've been working on for a long time already, but you just haven't had that breakthrough moment yet. And I think the reading is saying the blessing that's coming in for you is a breakthrough moment, or you having a breakthrough, but you have to not give up to get that, right? Yeah, with the 7 of Wands, you have the Sun. We have the Sun and the Star showing up here. The Sun and the Star together is like fame and fortune. So, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to become famous, but it's really, really good for, positive energy, getting attention, finding success. I love readings that go from the Moon to the Sun because that says that you're leaving a moon period behind. You're leaving behind that period of darkness. With the 4 of Pentacles, you have the 8 of Swords. I think you're setting yourself free from things that have been holding you back for a long time. So, if you've been, again, both of these cards here can represent holding on to something too tightly, and I feel you're just kind of releasing yourself. And with the Ace of Pentacles, you have the 4 of Swords. 4 of Swords is like resting, relaxing, recovering. So I feel like you are kind of resting, relaxing, recovering, taking care of yourself, all that other good stuff, right? We're going to pull 3 main themes here. You have this Witch card. It says Magic Curse on it. I think that a lot of you need to use, again, your energy to attract what you want. With this reading, 9 of Wands, 7 of Wands is kind of like about your beliefs and what you believe you are capable of accomplishing. I also think that, I don't really believe in curses. If curses were real, I'd be dead. But what I would say here is, I think that sometimes we have to have that breakthrough moment, which I really feel this reading is talking about, but it only comes from, making those tiny changes in what you're working towards. Then you finally have a breakthrough and also not giving up, right? So I think that is how you can break the curse. Now you have this Groom card. It says husband marriage on it. There's definitely good love stuff coming up here. So, Emperor, Empress, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. If you want a solid connection, you could be meeting a person that really does bring a solid connection in for you. You have this cat card. It says jealousy and gossip from other people. Sagittarius, like one thing you're going to have to deal with is other people. For like the next couple of years, I would just completely ignore it. That's the best thing you can do. I'm going to pull an extra card. You have this wheel. It says endings and beginnings. The whole entire reading is about you kind of, steering your ship in a new direction. Even at the bottom of your clarifying deck here, you have the Six of Swords, which is like steering your boat through choppy waters. So again, pretty interesting reading. Like looks really good to me. I think you're getting ready to have a breakthrough if you don't give up. So that's what I would suggest. But looks amazing, so thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.